Don't tell me you've
So
done it.
today we're going to continue with our study of parallel and perpendicular lines. So just to review, parallel lines, what can you tell me about their slopes?
They cross at a right angle.
They are the same. And so perpendicular lines, if you remember, we ended with this slide yesterday. And so perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at right angles. Consequently, their slopes are negative reciprocals of each other. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at the following question. The following question says, write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through 4, 7, and is perpendicular to the graph of y equals 1/3 x minus 5. So where we're going to start in this problem is we're going to start with this statement right here. Perpendicular to the graph of y equals 1/3 x minus 5. So what is the slope in this line?
1/3.
1/3. Now I want the slope of a line that is perpendicular to that.
3.
So
Negative 3, yeah.
the slope of a line that's perpendicular to that would be -3/1, which simplifies down to -3. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write an equation with this piece of information and this piece of information. And notice my equation needs to be in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form, somebody refresh my memory.
Y equals mx plus b.
Y equals mx plus b. And so in this case, it'll be y equals -3x plus b. What do I do now?
Plug in 4 sevens.
Plug in 4 for x and 7 for y. So 7 for y and 4 for x. So now what I need to do is go ahead and just simplify. So to simplify, I'm going to take -3 times 4, which is -12. What will my next step
Add
be?
12.
Add 12. So what do I get? 19 equals b. Now I don't stop there. I actually take that 19 and I'm going to go ahead and plug it in right here. So your answer should be y equals -3x plus 19. Questions? So pretty much the same thing we did yesterday, except for we're flipping the slope. Okay, so let's go ahead and, oops, skipped it. Let's go back. Let's go ahead and look at this one. It says, write an equation in slope-intercept form for the line that passes through -4, 6, and is perpendicular to the graph of. So once again, we are going to start with this statement right here. So what I want you to do right now, just at your tables, I want you to find out what's the slope of this line, 2x plus 3y equals 12. Find the slope of that. Okay. Are you able to see a little better? So find the slope.
Yeah, that's what I'm
The slope is not -2.
There goes our hope.
The slope is not -2. So if you got -2, go back and try and rework. So those of you that are kind of struggling a little bit, in order to find the slope, I need to put this in slope-intercept form. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And when I do that, I get 3y to equal -2x plus 12.
Oh, then you have to subtract.
Now what we need to do is, see, we don't just stop and say, oh, the slope is -2. What do you have to do before you can do that?
Subtract 3.
What do you have to do?
Everything.
Divide by 3. And so really, y equals -2/3 x plus 4. And so what is the slope of this line?
Negative 2/3.
Negative 2/3. But what is the slope of the line that I'm trying to find? 3 over 2. So now what I'm going to do is combine that with the point negative 4, 6. So can somebody tell me how I'm going to start?
Y equals 3/2 x plus b.
Good. 3/2 x plus b.
Add
Now what do I need to plug in?
6 to y.
6 for y
and then negative 4 for x.
and negative 4 for x. Now some of you, when you did your homework, should have noticed that with these fractions, a lot of the times they'll end up canceling out. And so this one over here actually becomes negative 12 over 2. Or I can cancel like this, and you can see that I should get negative 6. But you're going to find that out a lot. So then now how do you solve?
That's
Add
it.
Add
6.
6, good. So if I add 6 to both sides, I end up getting 12 equals b. So now I'm going to take that 12, I'm going to go through and plug it in right here. And so your answer should be y equals 3/2 x plus 12. Now can I have that answer with the fraction?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, yes.
It's slope-intercept
Yeah.
form.
Not
You
in
can have
standard
a
form.
fraction in slope-intercept form. You can't have a fraction in standard form. All right? Questions on that? Okay, now, determine whether the graphs of 6x minus 2y equals negative 2 and y equals 3x minus 4 are parallel or perpendicular. Explain. I'm going to give you probably about a minute and a half in your groups. Come up with an answer of yes or no. Are they perpendicular or parallel? So, perpendicular or parallel?
What click?
3, which would be negative 1. Yes, that would be, yeah. They're perpendicular.
No, they're not. They're perpendicular. No, they're parallel.
Because they both have the same slope. It says
I did yesterday.
I took this morning. I baked it.
I had a lot of pumpkin pie yesterday.
I had a little whipped cream.
Oh, Stefan, you didn't get much on your, yeah, I know.
All right, I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds to wrap it up.
Wow, I'm just kidding.
Quick when you're having fun.
All right, I'm going to start with the back group. What do you think? What was the consensus? Somebody? What do you, parallel or perpendicular? Parallel. Okay, you think it's parallel. What about that group? Parallel? What about that group? Okay, what about this group?
I think it's perpendicular, but I think they're parallel.
Parallel.
Okay, now, this is what we need to do. To determine if two lines are parallel, we need to find their slopes. And then we're going to compare the slopes. If the slopes are the same, they're parallel. If they're opposite reciprocals, they are perpendicular. And so, first of all, the second equation, it's pretty easy to see what the slope is there. What's the slope there?
3.
3. So now what I need to do is I need to see what the slope of this line is. And so I end up having 6x minus 2y equals negative 2.
Oh, yeah.
That's 2y.
So very first, what I'm going to go ahead and do is subtract 6x.
Oh, right.
Subtract 6x.
Negative 6x.
And so then I get negative 2y equals negative 6x minus 2. What do you do now?
Divide by negative 2.
Divide by negative 2. And so when I divide by negative 2, I get y to equal 3x plus 1. What's the slope of this line?
3.
3. So now what I need to do is I need to compare. Here's 3. Here's 3. They're the same. The lines are
Parallel.
parallel. So now what's going to happen come test and quiz time, I'm gonna look to see if you found the slope of each one. And that's how I'm going to pick your points. It's not just gonna be, if you have parallel, you're right. You're gonna have to show me the slopes. Okay, here you go. I'm gonna give you about a minute and a half in your groups. Let's go, figure it out.
I'll do the top one. Me and Aaron will do the top one, you do the bottom one.
But
Okay,
the
done.
buttons are.
I'm done.
Okay.
The top one.
Dang, you guys both, how you so fast?
Oh, yeah.
What'd you guys?
Let's see if you did that right.
I'm surprised that I did it right too. Oh my God, it's gonna be a long
This
night.
one here's Stressler.
You have to sit next to me.
Some stories that.
Taking a bus tomorrow? Hey.
Where have you been?
Collect coins from Canada.
Okay, wrap it up.
Bear goes cheap in Canada.
What?
Bear goes cheap in Canada. Do they pay you to leave?
Canada.
Okay, what do you think?
Perpendicular.
What do you think?
I'm gonna say it.
Perpendicular.
Okay, so slope of this one is what?
1/4.
1/4.
1/4.
What was the slope of this line right here?
-4.
-4. So they're opposite reciprocals and the lines are in fact perpendicular. Okay, so once again, what I'm going to be looking for is I'm going to be looking that you have the slope equals 1/4, you have the slope equals -4, and that you have the word perpendicular. Now, they don't always have to be one or the other. Okay, so
I guess that's.
determine whether the graphs of 5x minus y equals 0 and y equals 2/3 are 2x plus 3. So what's the slope of this one?
2.
2. What is the slope of this one?
-5.
Positive
5.
Let's see.
Because the negative y, you'd have to change the other sign.
What I'm gonna do is subtract 5x.
Oh, wait, no.
So you end up getting -y equals -5x. Change each of the signs.
Yeah.
So the slope here is 5. So this one is actually neither.
Hey, make
Okay.
it straight. Are we still supposed to explain those?
Now, when it says to, and that was what I said, when it says to explain, I'm looking for the slopes. Okay, so when it says to explain, this is what I'm looking for, here, here. I'm not gonna make you write sentences out. Okay, so now what I need you to do is I need you to go ahead and add to your existing assignment, there we go, 23 through 38. You have the rest of the time to work. If you work, you should be able to get a fairly good start on your homework. And so I think this has changed a little bit from what I had yesterday, so you might want to double check.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
21.
21
It
yesterday.
needs to be 23 through 38, and this will be due Monday.